Hello, everyone, from Comic-Con here in New York City, and welcome back to the WCG USA Finals. My name is Axel Toss, and I'm sitting here with the guy who is now in the grand final. He is 2-0'd RSM, or please leave duck, 2-1 Kawaii Rice, and he just 2-0'd Trimaster. He's Kevin QXC Riley. How you feeling, man? That was well done.
Pretty good. I felt like I played pretty well in those games. A little disappointing with the freeze, but
yeah.
It's okay.
What did you think about going into that?
The third game?
I felt like you were pretty far ahead. As far as
yeah. So we went back and we actually watched the replay, me and Josh together, and you can kind of see the position. My fourth was done before his was.
He wasn't even mining.
Yeah, his wasn't really up. I already had my gases going, and I was starting to accumulate a real bank. I was at 2.5K minerals, but he had the middle, and so you have this kind of
if
he's got the middle, he's got this kind of a soft contain, but I've got a lot of resources. I definitely would have lost some tanks to those drops, and it froze for him right before he did the drop, so they probably would have been a little bit better. And then because of the freeze, all of his tanks A-moved my army, and if you look at the game from that point, it's over. It's completely over. He's lost all of his tanks. I'm mech. I've got the center. I've got 4 bases. I've got 2.5K. But if you look at it right before he drops, I lose 6 tanks, and he controls the middle with his 6 or 7 tanks and a Thor.
Yeah.
And
who knows where he can pivot from there as far as...
I thought I was going to win. It was one of those games where it was probably 70% chance that I was going to win.
Right.
But especially his teammates, I don't
they asked me about it too, and I'm like, I'm not 100% confident. I'm not 100% comfortable saying who was absolutely ahead there. And especially because it froze before he could actually engage there, so we don't know how that would have kind of meshed out. But
yeah, and it's really weird to say, if you take 2 armies and one of the players is microing, the other one isn't, it's so hard to say how they would have controlled differently and how. So, but I felt comfortable going into the third game. I realized that because I was in such a good position, I felt like I could get there again, so I just stuck with the same build and decided to go mech again. And it worked out. I feel like it almost got to a very similar point. He kind of had the middle.
It looked identical. I was watching. I'm like, this is very similar to what happened in the last game.
Yeah. And then we saw the continuation of how it actually played out. I was a little.
There was a moment where he kind of isolated some of your armies.
Yeah.
How were you feeling during that whole process? So you had some armies stuck at the bottom. He had middle control. You were trying to engage his fourth.
It can get a little crazy sometimes, but. Siege tanks are so good against Bio without Metavacs. The army just kills itself because it has to stim to engage.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are killing all his Metavacs whole game, so I felt pretty comfortable when he was trying to base trade. I don't mind moving the CCs. I don't mind moving the starports. And once I realized I was going Sky and he wasn't, I knew the game was over.
Yeah.
Because
he didn't identify that until pretty later on.
And I was going double air upgrades. And if you're 2-2, your opponent's 0-0-0-1, even if he mass produces Vikings and mass produces BCs and Ravens, there's no way for him to really catch up. And so it was kind of at that point when I was like, okay, my upgrades are done for my air.
Just don't die to a Hunter Seeker, I guess, is what you do at that point.
But even Hunter Seeker takes almost 3 minutes for you to actually build that Raven, get the energy for it, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was well played. Game 2 was really convincing. Did you? So you didn't really feel any pressure to change your strategy after the first game, since
no, not at all. Especially after I watched the replay, I was like, I'm in a great position.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
And that build is very safe. If I had done a more risky build, where I'm like, okay, if my opponent does this, then I'm in a bad position. But if he does this other thing, I'm in a really good position. I didn't do a build like that. I did a build where he could have map hacks.
Right.
And there's not
and
really...
it's still going to be effective.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot. There's some early cheeses and things like that you're vulnerable to, but you scout for them. And so I felt comfortable just going ahead with it.
Yeah, it looked really good. Well played. Last question. How comfortable are you feeling right now? It feels like you're killing it. It feels like you're really confident in your play. Do you feel vulnerable at all in this tournament?
Not right now. I think I've defeated my main threats at this point, and I'll do it again in the upper finals.
All right. Well, awesome. Best of luck, of course. QXC is going to play the winner of Sasquatch, Kawaii Rice, and Trimaster. He's awaiting in the grand final, and he is in prime position to take that spot in China to represent the United States of America. Don't go anywhere. After a quick break, we're going to be back with a match between Kawaii Rice and RSM or Please Leave Duck. Thanks for watching.